Well, hello there, my friend, and welcome once again to another episode of the Fit at Home podcast, where we share our best tips, tools, and techniques to help you get in the best shape of your life every 7 days. Because when it comes to getting in shape, there's no place like home. As always, I'm Matt Schipperly from the Red Delta Project, and Al Painter is joining me. I know, very unusual occurrence here, but thank you very much for coming on here. Al, how's it going, man? I like your hat. Go Red Sox.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, in 2000, I don't know, like 2008-ish, long time ago. Jill and I went to Cape Cod, and I have some relatives back there, and then we went to Fenway Park for a game.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so awesome. We sat right by Pesky Pole and Fenway Park. If you were a baseball fan, Fenway Park has to be on your bucket list to go catch a ball game. Oh my God, it is amazing. It is amazing.
Yep, Fenway Park, Yankee Stadium. I know Tampa, Wrigley Field, but the Tampa Bay Rays down south where my parents live, like that's a good ballpark as well, and a lot of spring training happens down there and stuff. So Florida's a good baseball state. You wouldn't?
Oh yeah,
but it really is. It's fantastic to get out and enjoy some of the local sports there. It's a good way to spend a day. It's just there's something about watching sports that just makes you say, "Okay, life, time out. I'm just going to chill. I'm going to relax, put all the issues and worries of the day on the back shelf." And I know we can make the same thing happen with our workouts and train stuff, but it's just something special about that sort of event where you're just chillaxing, watching other people work out.
Yeah, there is. I still remember the first time I walked through the concourse doors to the field at Candlestick Park when I was a kid. I was about Jeremy's age. I was like maybe 7. And seeing a Major League Baseball diamond for the first time was just like this magical experience, right?
Yep.
And at the age of 49, it is still like that. I see that field, we get to our seats, and it's like you said, man, it's like, world, we're going to check you and leave you in the car. Happy fun days. You're coming with us. Let's go. No, wipe the sleep out of your eyes and the cobwebs. Come on, let's go. And just sit there and our local minor league ballpark, we have a vendor called Turkey Mike's Barbecue. Oh, Turkey Mike's Barbecue is just amazing. It is so good. The portions are the size of brontosauruses, and it's like that big thing that tips Fred's car over in the Flintstones.
Yep.
You're like this, and it takes you a month to wipe the barbecue sauce off your, oh my God, Matt, it is so good. Then you chase it down with deep fried Oreos. And then they have this thing called the beer batter where they pick a guy from the other team. And if he strikes out, beer is half price for 15 minutes. So if he gets 2 strikes on him, the place goes insane. And the stands start, like they empty. We're talking crickets, right? And if the guy doesn't strike out, it's a very intimate setting. Minor league baseball, you're super close to the field, right? He gets called things that you can't say in church, Yep. And then if the guy strikes out, then it's like the celebration at the end of Return of the Jedi when the Death Star blew up. it's amazing. Yeah, but that's minor league ballparks, man. Minor league ballparks have the best promotion. Super family friendly. The kids can run the bases after the games. Oh, yeah, it's awesome. Love it.
Beer, all right.
Right?
That's what you get here on this podcast. This is a fitness podcast. We are serious. We recommend drinking cheap beer.
There's also a guy, Ben's Biz. He's got a blog, a minor league baseball blog. And was it it had to been year before last. He had this thing called the designated eater. So I think he went to literally every minor league ballpark in the country, and you could sign up. I don't know how you did it to get picked, but you could sign up to be his designated eating partner at the game. And the qualification was you had to have one thing from every food vendor at the park.
Oh boy. That can get heavy in a hurry. Wow.
Right?
Oh.
Yeah.
And people signed up for that? I mean, I would.
I would.
Like, I'm not even going to try. I need a couple of hot dogs and a plate of nachos. I'd be like, I'm good. And they're like, there's 2 vendors. You've got 5 more.
Oh, you get the little baseball helmet with the ice cream in it, right? And we have something also called the frickle, which is a deep fried pickle sandwich. And oh man, I'm telling you. I'm a personal trainer, Tony. Go eat deep fried food.
I'm going to go to a ballpark because of course, here in Denver, we've got the Rockies.
Oh
And
yeah.
my joke is that we'd always go out to the Rockies games with friends, and I'd be like, "What can I get a nice organic kale salad here?" And people would be like, "Get out, get out."
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, it's so
Exactly.
much fun. But anyway, why don't we get down to business here? We're going to just talk about our strategies and tips to help your workouts over the next 7 days. So we'll start off with our workout tips, things that you can do, because we should always be looking to evolve our workouts. Anytime we get stuck and think, I've got everything set in stone and this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life, that's how we get stuck. And we have plateaus and everything. And we always need to change, move forward, and evolve. So that's what these tips are all about helping you do. So, Al, what's your workout tip that's going to help with our evolution over the next 7 days?
I would like for people to do this workout tip of picking a themed workout, right? So much like the ballparks when they have Harry Potter night, which we went to, or Star Wars night, or Avengers night, that kind of stuff. Do that with your workouts. For instance, one of the things I like to do if I'm getting a little bored working out, yeah, I said that. I get bored working out too because I'm,
That
what are
never
we,
happens.
humans?
That
Yeah,
never
right?
happens. That never happened to me. No, never.
To hit the refresh replay button on my squat push pull days, what I'll do is, okay, you know what? We're doing suspension training, squat push pull today. And then the next day, we're going to do all bands. And then the next day, maybe the sandbag. And then the next day, maybe the kettlebells. And then that's a great way to breathe new life into old workouts. And then you can play with timing and rep counts and, be smart about it, be safe, only do what your body's going to give you. And if it hurts, stop.
Mhm.
But, try a themed day or if you got a really good program you like, a themed week, or just something to where it's you only focus on one thing, which is why I love suspension straps, because that is simplicity and training, I think, at its finest. I mean, the only way it gets simple is if you're using body weight, because you hang up your straps and you go, right? I
Yep.
mean, the training world is your oyster there. And you can do your squat push pull or whatever. And one of the things I did the other day was I needed to work on some strength gaps, and now my obliques hate me with the burning passion of 1,000 suns. But I did side planks with my feet in the straps, and I, like everybody else, I don't like doing the things I'm not good at, which means you got to do more of them. That what you like the least is probably that what you need the most, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I did them. I feel better. Feel better. I don't feel better, but I'm moving better. There is a difference,
Yep.
people. And it was great. And then next time I got a softball game Thursday night, so I'll probably do some diagonal band kind of choppy stuff, just baseball related movement or softball related movements to get loose, and then I'll be happy.
There you go. All right. And I know a lot of times people are like, oh, changing it up. The biggest obstacle that I find with change that people run into, or at least I used to do this, and I see this happen a lot in the gym, is where people will think, oh, this is the best, or this is the optimal, or this is the one true way to do X. And they just latch onto that thing and they don't change things up. But not forgetting that you don't get results because of the exercise you do or the tool you're using, or like, okay, should I do push-ups on a bench? Should I do suspension strap push-ups? Or should I do like band presses? So like at the end of the day, it's a horizontal press. Like that's what really matters. Like the fundamental movement pattern's the same. So the stimulus is roughly the same. You can use different tools, you can use different exercises, but as long as fundamentally your body's still doing roughly the same thing, you're still roughly doing the same thing in your workout, which is why that leads to my tip of the week, which is have some flexibility with your numbers, particularly your sets and your workout duration. And the reason why I mention this is because oftentimes we get stuck on a particular number, thinking it's the best or the right or correct way to work out. And it's like, I need to do this many sets, or I need to work out for this amount of time, or do cardio for this long to burn fat and stuff. And those recommendations aren't bad, but they're certainly very limiting when that's the only way that we approach things. But everything in life, of course, has a lot of nuance to it, and there's a lot of change in our circumstances. Your amount of time is different. Your energy level is different. Your motivation is different. Your equipment could be different. There's a million things that could be different every single time you work out. So trying to stick to one workout structure because it's the right way to do it. And not giving yourself that flexibility can create a lot of stress on mind, body, and lifestyle. Plus, it actually holds you back because sometimes you can and should be doing a lot more than you normally do. Like, let's say you do 3 sets of push-ups, for example, in your push-up workout. Well, sometimes you should be doing 5 or 6 or 7 sets, right? How about 200 push-ups today? But other times, if you say, okay, I've got to do 100 push-ups today, and sometimes I just don't have the time, I don't have the energy, I don't have the motivation, great, 10 push-ups, 20 push-ups, whatever, right? But being flexible with this sort of approach keeps you moving forward with your momentum, but it also allows you to fit your circumstance. You don't always walk out of your house thinking, I've got to wear a cotton hoodie, right? Sometimes it's 90 degrees out. That's not what you should be wearing. You're going to be too hot. And other times it's 20 below out, you're going to be too cold. We dress for the weather. Well, your workout should reflect the same thing. Take your number, whatever it is, like 3 sets of push-ups or whatever, and use that as like your base and your foundation, which you normally would do, but break out of that. Sometimes if you're like, I really feel like I'm getting into my groove after that 3rd set, great, keep going. Don't worry about overtraining. And there's a million reasons why we can talk ourselves out of why we shouldn't do more, shouldn't do less. Ignore all that stuff. Sometimes you should be doing more just because you can and want to do more. Sometimes you should do less just because you can and should be doing less. It's that simple. Give yourself that flexibility in your workouts. All right, moving on real quick here. Dietary tips, things that can help save you a lot of calories and give you a more satisfying diet as well. Al, what's new in the culinary world for you these days, my friend?
Oh, new in the culinary world. The tip this week, how about cutting out a cardboard carb this week? How about that? 1 cardboard carb out of the next 7 days from your eating, breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, whatever. Just cut out 1. That's it. Not asking you to quit cold turkey or go on a sugar embargo or anything like that. Just cut out 1 cardboard carb. If it cut out 1 thing that comes in a wrapper, that comes in a box, that's it. That's it. Just cut out 1 and see what happens.
Yep. I like it. Very, very straight to the point, because oftentimes that's how change really happens. It's not a big, huge thing. It's just one thing, one little thing that you can do each week, and then that builds up over time. I like that. And my tip for the week is cook in bulk. Especially this works well for us bachelors and people who live in small areas. A lot of people will say, oh, I don't cook very much because it's just me, or it's just me and my significant other, or whatever. And as we've talked about in the past, one of the most powerful things you can do to control your diet is to make your own food. But people are like, but it's just me. I don't feel like making a lot. And so my tip is cook in bulk, make a lot of food. I know it's just you. Cook enough for 5 people. Cook enough for the whole family kind of thing, and then you save it, because 1, that's going to save you a ton of money. It's a lot easier to just cook a lot when it's cooking once. I mean, it takes me the same amount of time to cook a lot of pasta or rice as it does a little bit of pasta and rice and ground beef or whatever else. But then you keep it in containers, put it in the fridge, and then it's heat and eat real quick and easy. So that's even better and faster than fast food, because you just come home and you literally just heat it up in a saucepan or the microwave or whatever. So you cook once and eat throughout the week for several meals because of just one thing. So don't be afraid of making a lot. Yes, make a lot. Make a good amount of food, and that way you're going to be much more likely to continue eating at home and eating healthy food that you have prepared just the way you want it, less likely to eat out, and it's going to save you some money as well. So just cook in bulk. If you're going to cook, you might as well just cook more. Same thing we were saying about the workout. Sometimes more, sometimes less, but cooking in bulk gives you that flexibility. Do you do that?
I'm sorry, what, Matt?
Do you do that much? When you cook?
Yeah, I do actually. I'll make a big old thing of steel cut oatmeal, right? Mm-hmm. So I'll just overnight put it in a jar with some water and apple cider vinegar. It's supposed to reduce something, and Joe can tell you what it is. I always forget. And then put some chia seeds in there, and then I'll try to make them.
Ladies and gentlemen, we know what we're
really, right?
about.
Well, I know enough to know other people know more than I do.
Amen, brother.
Right? So Yeah, unfortunately, my kids think they know a hell of a lot more than I do, and it's going to be till they're both 25 till they figure out that's not right. Anyway, oh my god. Anyway, so what are we talking? Oh yeah, make the bulk there with the oatmeal, and then I have oatmeal throughout the day or ensuing days of the week. Do you have an Instapot there or a
I
slow
don't.
cooker?
I used to have an Instant
Oh,
Pot and a slow cooker, and it was one of those things where we would make up. We kept experimenting with recipes, and sometimes it wouldn't come out very well, and we'd be like, "Oh, this is terrible," and then it just go bad in the fridge, kind of thing. I just use most of my bulk cooking is literally just a big ass pot. Just put a bunch of stuff in the pot, or I got a big wok. Put a bunch of stuff in there,
oh yeah,
mix it all up. Boom, there you go, and it gets done in fine fashion. And this is usually my bulk cooking strategy.
nice. Do you do bone broth too?
No, I don't do bone broth. I like to make kind of my own sauces and broth.
Nice.
Put a lot of my own flavors and herbs in there. I like a lot of spicy stuff, so I put hot sauce in there. I'm a big fan of make it your way, make it the way you want it, because when you get those flavor profiles dialed in, oh, is it good? It's very, very tasty stuff. I'm a big
Yeah,
fan of
agreed,
that kind of
agreed.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And then finally, our final segment here. And as a reminder, if you enjoy this podcast, please do all the things that people always ask you to do, like, share, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. And leave a review on your podcast directory. It really helps us to spread around the show. People ask all the time, we love a podcast. How do we support it? That's how you support it, by just basically spreading the word and telling your friends about it. So on to our resource section, things that we think are very helpful and useful for your workouts. I got a really unusual one for you, but I'm going to save that until after you're done here. Al, what do you got for us?
I saw that your resource there, and I'm like, oh, I have those in my head. I could probably give him some. My resource is, well, let me preface this. My resource there is a caveat, because to really unlock the full benefit, there is a subscription. I don't know what it is. You go to their website or go to the App Store and check it out. The Focus at Will app. So it uses, this is from the website. Focus at Will uses features of sound discovered by neuroscientists to help you focus and retain information. And I'm telling you, people, I have a scorching case of squirrel, and I have shiny object syndrome like you wouldn't believe. And when I need to sit down and get creative and create content or whatever, the Focus at Will app really, really helps me. I don't know if it's binary beats or binaural beats or whatever all that stuff is, but there, you listen to it for a while, and then out of nowhere, boom. It's like someone just flipped the switch on in my brain. The synapses start talking to each other, and then I'm off to the races. And yeah, man, it's great. It's great. And when I have combined the right dosage of nature's nectar in the form of a caffeine bean in my mug and the Focus at Will, man, I'm off. I am rolling, and I am ready to go.
I like that. I am totally going to try that. I'm going to click on the link here. As always, resources and everything that we're mentioning are in the description down below. So if you're thinking you're driving in the car and like, Focus Will app, got to remember that. It's down below in the description. Get home, then you can click it and check that out. I'm totally going to check that out because,
oh man, it's great.
Oh, dude, especially these days, because the most valuable resource we have these days is our attention span. And there's so many distractions going around all the time that our attention is becoming more and more a scarce and precious commodity. So anything that can bring focus is just worth its weight in gold. So I like your suggestion for this week. I'm totally going to try that. I'm not going to do the bean. I'm going to go with my yerba mate. I like that yerba mate tea. That's my go-to. I'm a tea guy, not a coffee guy, but it's definitely along the same lines there.
And yet we make our relationship work somehow.
I know,
right?
It's amazing. We haven't wanted to punch each other in the face over the internet yet.
Only when you were giving me workouts, I wanted to do that then, but not since. Not since. This is a bad man, people. This is a bad man. And I realize the incredible ironic hypocrisy from one trainer to call another trainer a bad man based on what I do to other people. But, oh man, I got strong as hell, I'll tell you that. But, oh boy, I don't know if it was like more emotional pain, just knowing this is what was coming, and it was going to come in a very short amount of time. Micro Workouts, great book, shameless product plug. One more thing to put in the show notes. But it was just really focused, really centered, really just concentrated. Do these basics, nail these basics, and get better doing other stuff. Oh man,
Yep.
yeah. But it hurt. It hurt. I think there were a lot of that's all we have time for today. We'll pick it up here next week sessions for me. Like, but then he made me do, and they're like,
Yeah.
get out, you're out later.
Yep. Well, my tip of the week is going to potentially, dear listener, put you in the same path. Now, I will warn you, like, this is one that a lot of you are just going to dismiss. And you're just going to be like, yeah, okay, that's cute. All right, I'm serious about this. I did this myself for a solid month. And you learn a lot about your body and how it moves and what really works by using this very uncommon weightlifting implement that is widely available. It's also free for a large degree. It's not something you're going to pick up on Amazon, although I'm sure you still can buy this on Amazon. You buy anything on Amazon. But this implement is ROCKS, ROCKS, ROCKS. I'm not going to make any puns about, this weightlifting implement ROCKS or anything. Okay, too late. But no, I'm serious. Years and years ago, I was attending a seminar, and with the seminar, there came a booklet on just that: is what do you do when you don't have weights? What do you do if you're in the woods? What do you do if you're just looking for something new to do? And the whole idea is you lift ROCKS. And at that point, I was really burned out and really kind of aches and pains and getting a lot of just physical ailments from my lifting. I'm like, all right, I'm going to try this for a month. I'm just going to lift natural implements, rocks, logs, things that you find in nature. And it is amazing how humbling that can be. There was one time I remember I found a rock in a river, and it was near a soccer field. And I was like, all right, I'm going to lunge with this rock, carrying it in my arms, down the soccer field. And I think I made it about a third of the way down the field before I just collapsed in the grass and my legs were just seizing on me. And there's a number of reasons why rocks work so well, but one is they're not comfortable, well-balanced implements with handles on them. It really helps you recognize things like your stability, your core strength, your grip strength, your shoulder stability. Two, it also is something that is ground-based. Every time you go and work out with rocks, they start on the ground. You have to pick them up. You have to work with it and your body's relationship to gravity as Mother Nature intended. At the time, I was working out in a gym and everything was racks. The barbell's on a rack, the bench press is on a rack, the dumbbells are on a rack. I never had to lay down. I never had to get up or pick anything up off the ground unless I really wanted to. And as a result, I had a lot of nagging weaknesses, which is partially why I was having so much trouble, that those rocks exposed. And so there's a lot of resources out there you can find, just Google lifting rocks and stuff like that. But literally just grab a set of rocks, go to a river, go to a quarry or something like that. I recommend wearing like working gloves when you're doing this, just because there's kind of some sharp edges sometimes and it can be rough on the hands. But using rocks as a weighted implement is one of those things that I'm surprised didn't kind of take off during this whole quarantine thing, when dumbbells were going for like $100 a gram or whatever. They're worth more than gold. It's like people on the black market selling their Bowflex, but they're widely available and they will get you in shape and strengthen you in ways no other implements can. And they're, like I said, they're free, widely available, very humbling. So if you're up for the challenge, find some rocks, lift those rocks, and be humbled, my friend. All right, that's
there. I've seen there's a guy, Strong Camps on Instagram, Daniel Americom. He's one of the stick mobility coaches, and he's got videos. Like I think he lives in Southern California. He'll go out into the hills and just find like these big slabs of cement, broken cement and concrete, and pick them up, go for a walk. Yep. I mean, and it looks horrible and effective.
Yeah.
All at the same time.
Yeah. It also exposes just how artificial and fake our typical approach to weight training is. Like, I was one of those guys who was always like, free weights are so natural. They're the natural way to move. Boy, you start moving with rocks, you realize just how fake and artificial a back squat is. Because you're not back squatting a rock, because one, you can't really get it on your back. Two, it doesn't want to stay on your back. Three, it's kind of hard to hold it there. Four, you're not going to lift as much weight as you would have. So we can back squat, but only once we invented the barbell, invented plate loading, invented the squat rack. We had to invent several devices in order to do a heavy ass back squat. But when you start lifting rocks, you realize everything starts on the ground. I have to pick it up. And 9 times out of 10, I have to continue holding it in my arms if I want to do anything like lunges and squats and stuff, which is a totally different ball game than what we're used to. Like I said, very humbling. Most people will not be up for the challenge, but if you are, it will put your training in a whole new direction.
Well, think about it. If you're going to go out looking for rocks, I mean, sure, you can go to Home Depot or one of those kinds of places at a nice manicured floor. But if you're going to go looking for rocks, go look for rocks in a safe area. You know, we don't want you to get eaten by a Sasquatch or anything. Yeah. But the ground you're going to walk on, it's going to force the muscles in your foot to articulate the bones in your foot that much more. So it's a very natural way to functionally train your body in the way that we're biomechanically engineered to move, to have proximal stability for distal mobility and distal strength, right? I mean, you have to have that lockdown core so your meat hooks can grab onto something and stabilize all the way into the shoulder, down the spine, through the hips, to have the proper mobility in your hips and your ankles, because you're not going to be wearing lifting shoes going down and looking for rocks.
No.
To go down to the ground, to get into that squat position, to stand up.
Yep.
You know, I mean, and that's going to happen on an uneven surface.
Yeah. Yeah. And it doesn't have to be huge, big slabs either.
Right.
I would take rocks that were the size of like a little bit bigger than grapefruit and do like lateral raises. And it's crazy how you'd get something that's an odd object, how heavy it feels. I would take some rocks and I would weigh them just so I had balanced ones. It's like, this rock only weighs 15 pounds, but it feels like I'm doing an overhead press with a 30-pound dumbbell. It was very, very awkward. You're stabilizing all over. It's much more challenging than you may think, which is why I recommend it for this week's resource.
Yeah, Jill's an occupational therapist, and we were at a park with the kids one day, and she had me pick up stones, little tiny ones, and move them through my hand, right? And I had to get a little stone under each finger. Then I had to release it one at a time and just keep doing that. And then she had me right, because I do with both hands, she had me right with my left hand, and it looked almost as good as my dominant side. And then I was having some shoulder issues, and after doing all that finger work, oh man, it felt like somebody just put some into my shoulders. I had not felt that connected and that controlled and that amount of strength and coordination from my hands to my shoulders into my pecs, and I don't know how long. Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah. Yep. So have fun with it. Explore. I recommend looking in rivers. In Vermont, at least, I would find the best rocks that were kind of smooth by the water. I would go and just literally walk around in rivers. It was a hot summer day. It was the best thing ever, doing lifting and stuff in a flowing river. And you get all these rocks around you and you're chucking them and throwing them and stuff. It felt great. It was a wonderful way to work out. Anyway,
you will have an Abba Dabba Do time, my friends.
Yeah. We got a lot of Flintstone references on this one.
God, if you stop listening, I totally apologize. But just come back to the next show.
Absolutely. We'll have the Jetsons references on the next show.
Get me off this crazy thing, Jane. I remember, so I married an axe murderer. Get me off this crazy thing called life.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I thought I ordered the large.
Popping up on my Netflix these days. I wonder if there's a sign from the universe that I need to watch that or something.
I love that show, man. Heed, move, now.
All right, that's what I'm doing Saturday night.
There you go, man. I love that movie. It's such a good movie.
Yep. All right. Anyway, we're gabbing around enough. We'll let you go and continue along with life. But as always, hit us up at reddeltaproject@gmail.com. Al, what's your email address again?
It is al@integratefitness.com, or just go to Instagram and Facebook. Do you integrate with the little @ thing in front there and say, How you doing?
Hey, yeah, we love hearing from you folks. And as always, if you have questions that we can answer for you on the show or anything, we'll love to entertain those as well. But let you go. I'll talk to you next week. Till then, stay strong and lead by example.